All right. Well, hello and welcome everyone to Summit Alliance Advantage Tuesday training. This is Jason Martinez. We're going to go ahead and get started now. Again, I apologize for the delay. Hopefully the audio is coming through well. Have a little audio challenge here, so we're working through it as we can. Today we're going to talk about appointment setting and approach with final expense and mortgage protection. Getting to the home, getting to the kitchen table, getting in front of the client. That's, one of the most important parts of the business. Of course, having those clients is very important. We talk about that. We have training on that. But once you have the leads, once you have, the people that you need to get a hold of, it's about setting appointments and it's about the approach. And, there's different ways that you're going to approach certain types of leads, and we'll briefly kind of go into that. And there's also just a certain mindset that you want to have when you're setting your appointments. And basically, whenever you're setting appointments, there we go. Basically what you're trying to do, you're trying to get the appointment. You're trying to do exactly that. A lot of agents will make the mistake of trying to pre-qualify the appointment over the phone. What do I mean by pre-qualify? Well, do you have a checking or banking account? Do you really want to do you think it's comfortable for someone to tell a stranger, yes, I have a banking or checking account? But believe it or not, a lot of agents, they'll call and they try to pre-qualify their clients and they'll ask them questions like that. Well, and then they'll start to maybe talk to them about their medical history. It's really best to do that while you're building value at the kitchen table with your client. To try to pre-qualify your client over the phone, ask them about medical history, and let them know it's going to be a short appointment, that kind of contradicts your statement, especially if you're utilizing the appointment setting script. You're sitting there trying to qualify them over the phone, having them get this information, maybe prescriptions, things to that effect. And, ultimately, you can do that there in the home, especially with final expense. If you're working the telemarketing leads, again, that's the approach for telemarketed leads. It's okay to call and set appointments. But, you're going to have a product to really meet any need that you run into. And same thing for mortgage protection. For the most part, you're going to have a product because you can take them all the way down to a payments protection plan. And if you've seen other trainings, you know what I'm talking about when I refer, to a payments protection plan for mortgage protection. Either way, just really keep in mind, you want to get prepared to set your appointments. We'll talk a little bit about that. But you want to also know the ultimate goal is just getting an appointment. Try to avoid the pre-qualifying, try to avoid trying to get a commitment to buy, confirming, that they're serious or anything like that, because they initiated the contact, whether that be the letter they filled out and mailed back in for mortgage protection, the response that they gave the telemarketer, or maybe the mail piece that they mailed in for final expense or IUL annuity piece or something to that effect. Again, they've already initiated some type of contact. Our job is to get to the home, get to the kitchen table, so we can build value in doing that. And, I talked a little bit about this. Again, your primary objective in making calls is to arrange a visit. I use the word visit with clients. I'd like to come visit with you for about 15 or 20 minutes. I don't tell them I need to set an appointment with you. It only takes 15 or 20 minutes. If I do, words matter. I'll say visit, not appointment. And just as it says here, if you attempt to do more than this, you run the risk of losing your potential appointment by attempting to get your customer to buy something they have not yet seen or even, have an understanding of, by someone they don't even know. So again, just think about that. You're trying to make a sale. They don't know you. If you're doing that over the phone and family comes over or in-law or brother or sister, who you getting that from? What are you doing? You just gave someone your bank account, your social over the phone. Maybe you just did something for grandparents or parents and their kids come over. Kids are going to protect their parents financially if they can. In most cases, what'd you just do? You gave who your information? And, again, so you want to establish that relationship. You want to get to the home. You want to get to the kitchen table. Most of the products we sell, simplified issue, non-medical. It's ideal to get to the kitchen table, build that relationship. You can qualify your client, and so they know who they're dealing with. Again, that helps with persistency. That helps with business staying on the books. That helps you as an agent build your book of business. Again, you get in front of clients and there's so many doors that can open, whether it be recognizing additional products, as far as solutions for the family, or maybe, they have family members that need your help, and again, you can get referrals, and all of this happens by getting into the home. Even if you don't make the sale, you can get into the home and ask for the referral. Again, that's very, very important. So again, concentrate on getting the appointment. You can avoid product details. If they ask you a question, that's a great question. And, I'll have that answer for you as soon as I get there. I'll be in your area this Friday and Saturday. With Saturday, maybe at 3 o'clock, would that work well for you? Become good at overcoming the objection and immediately, given an option as far as the time frame to come see them. Again, we'll talk more about that here shortly. Setting qualified appointments, you always want to get the person on the phone that filled out the lead. That's what I try to do. If it's a mortgage protection lead, I look at the handwriting, I look at the person who signed the letter, and that's who I'm asking for. That's who I'm trying to get on the phone. You want to, the man, that's the person who has the money, the authority, and the need, and that's not always the man, right? So you want to get in touch with the person that filled out the letter, that made the request, and, that's very key in getting that appointment, because you could be in a situation where you call the home, someone answers the phone, and you ask for maybe the name that's on the lead. Maybe it's the spouse's name on the letter, and, the spouse filled it out and sent it back, but, you're asking for the wrong person. So just remember to get the person on the phone that filled out the lead. Now, a few things that you can do to get qualified appointments. One thing is prepare yourself. This is important. You want to sit down and prepare yourself and have time in your schedule to set appointments. So many agents, for whatever reason, they find so many other distractions other than, a lot of time for setting appointments. And, so you have to, prepare yourself in many different ways, not only freeing up your schedule, but, be in a good appointment setting mood. Skipping down to number 5, enthusiasm is contagious. If someone calls you and they are not in that great of a mood, are you going to be, as willing to set an appointment with them as you would if they called you in a great mood, excited? Probably not. And, one of the things that I do whenever I call, in preparing myself, make sure I'm in a good mood. I smile when I dial. That comes through on the phone. People hear that, they sense that, they feel it, and it sounds funny, but it's so true. And always be assertive in what you say, not necessarily aggressive, assertive. More assuming, assuming the appointment. You're assuming the sale. Number 3, there, timing is important. That means a few different things. Of course, you're setting aside your time, but most importantly, you're covering your time frames, trying to get a hold of the client or trying to, fit them in your schedule. You need to become good at contacting your clients. What I mean by that, when I sit down with my stack of leads and I call through, so let's say I sit down, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I sit down, I call through, I'll make notes on the back of my lead sheet, and I'll just tally up the time that I called, first attempt, and then I'll go through that again. I'll call mid-morning. Then I'll call, afternoon or early afternoon, and I'm taking notes of all the times that I'm calling them, because I'm trying to narrow down the time frame that I can catch this client at home. And that's basically what it boils down to. Life is happening for everyone. Everyone has a busy schedule. You need to become good at working with busy schedules and helping people, guiding them into your schedule. That way, again, you can walk them through the process. A lot of that, using words like visit, that's going to help set the client at ease. Letting them know it's only going to take 10 or 15 minutes. That'll help set the client at ease. When people think of an insurance appointment, they think, oh gosh, the dreaded 3, or I don't want to spend 3 or 4 hours with this person. And, so I'll let them know, a good thing is only take 10 or 15 minutes to see if we can get you qualified. I'd love to visit with you, this Saturday at 3. Would that work well for you? And, so again, just assuming the appointment, just stepping right into it. I know my schedule. I know what time I can give them, and, in a good mood. And, again, one thing that you need to prepare yourself for is to anticipate some angry people. Now, they might not be angry, the day before you called them or the day after you called them, but something may have just happened that, upset them or whatever the case. Or, maybe, get life's happening for people. You call them and you get that angry person on the phone. You need to have the ability to just simply move on to the next one. Some will, some won't, so what, who's next type of thing. And you have to keep going. You have to keep moving forward, because so many agents, they let that affect their attitude. They let that affect their demeanor, their mood, and their rhythm. And if you're sitting there and you're calling through and you're making your phone calls, you're dialing, and, you get that, you throw up your hands. Oh, gosh, I hadn't got any appointments yet. This person just chewed me out. I'm not setting the appointments. And you sit down, and you walk away from the desk, and you walk away from, and you don't even know the next 5 people you could have called could have been your next 5 appointments. And it works that way. And, so anticipate angry people. Don't worry about them. Learn, to work on, not a problem. And don't be afraid to follow up with them at a later date. You're going to have people, because things change, life happens. And so by following up with them at a later date, when you circle back around, you hear me talk a lot about, working your areas, working your honey holes is what I call them. So if you've worked in this particular area, you worked there for a week or 2 or 3, then you moved on to another area, worked there. Well, when you circle back around to your first location that you were running business, pick up the leads that you've worked there before, because those are your leads. You create your own lead bank. That's the one thing about marketing and, how we teach agents how to market themselves. You want to be your own lead generator. You create your own lead bank. We have the tools, the resources, and everything to, help do that. But, again, that's very important. So also, maintain control, maintain control of your schedule. It kind of goes with number 1 a little bit, because you want to prepare yourself. You want to know what times you have available, what days you're available to see your client. You don't want to be unprepared and all of a sudden you have someone that's ready to set an appointment. Yeah, sure, you can come. Okay, well, hold on, let me see here. You have that time, you've given them an option, and they're more than likely going to choose an option. And, so again, maintaining that control of your schedule, guiding your client through the process, maintaining control of the situation, it's very important. And also expect then manage the availability pushback. Just as I mentioned earlier, people are going to be busy. Life is happening for everyone. If you become good at working yourself into people's schedule, at working them into your schedule, that's going to really set your business apart, from just a mediocre producer to, a top performer on the top 3 on the leaderboard every week. And so be ready for that, and just be ready. That's great. What I used to do, my appointment setting days, I would set appointments every Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's what my schedule was set to do. I'd sit down all day long, set appointments, cover my time frame, and I'd work to set appointments up for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And those were the days that I would run business. Now, from there, Sunday was kind of my rollover day. So if I could not fit someone into Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, then I would fit them into Sunday. And that's how I ran my weekly schedule. Monday, I'd turn in business, get things scrubbed and sent into the care, make sure everything's in good order, whatever follow-ups that I need to do. And but that's what I did. And my goal was to get anywhere from 15 to 25 appointments for the weekend, sometimes more. And I did that by simply sitting down, clearing my schedule, and again, I made sure that was my only focus. I didn't have things going on that distracted me from the phone. Of course, took breaks here and there. But for the most part, you want to cover your time frames. You want to get a hold of people. You want to beat the phones up so you can get people on the phone so you can get your appointment set. Because, again, you got to get to the kitchen table. You got to get to the home. So, just some more tips, kind of what I've just talked about, call with excitement. Call as if they're already a client of yours and you're getting back in touch. Hey, Mr. Smith, I'm so glad I got you on the phone. I'm trying to get a hold of you about the request you made for your final expense or for your mortgage protection. Whatever market that you're working in. Again, we'll go over the scripture shortly. Also have the correct mindset before calling. Especially if you're working older leads or, if you're utilizing maybe the mortgage protection age leads that we have access to. Instead of thinking, wow, this is an old lead, think, wow, this family's still not covered. I got to get a hold of them. And that, prompts this line. You'll become good at this if you're studying mortgage protection report. I have a record. You send in a request for these benefits, and it shows that you have not yet been taken care of. It shows in our system you've not yet been taken care of. And, the good thing is I can get this taken care of for you in, 15 or 20 minutes. I'll be in your area this Friday and Saturday. How about Saturday at 3 o'clock or maybe Friday at 10? Which will work better for you? Again, going right into the appointment setting, being excited, just having that different mindset, because as opposed to you call them with the mindset of this lead is old. Hi, yeah, I got this letter. It looks like you sent it in a long time ago. And, I'm not, do you still need this coverage? Well, we can talk, and it's a totally different conversation. But again, if you're calling them, you're being assumptive, you're letting them know, hey, I have the request that you made. We're going to be in your area this weekend. I'm not sure what happened, but it shows in our system you've not yet gotten this taken care of. I'm letting them know right off the bat that I know they haven't gotten this taken care of, and I'm the person, that's going to do that for them. Also, the third bullet point there, be independent emotionally from the outcome of your calls. Again, that kind of goes along with anticipate some angry people. Don't let your calls, and this also goes the other way. I call it riding a roller coaster sometimes. Some agents, I got appointments. Man, I can't get appointments for nothing. It's just, stay even keel. If you get a bunch of appointments, don't get too excited. Keep going. Don't, I got an appointment. Ooh, I can take a break. No, just keep going. Stay even keel. If you don't get appointments, don't get upset. Don't stop. Just keep going and set appointments. Just make your calls. Don't worry about what happens on the other end of the phone. You stay focused and you continue to move forward until you reach your goal. And if we need to evaluate your performance, I tell agents if you're calling and you get a bunch of people on the phone and you haven't set an appointment, then hey, give me a call and let's go through your script. Call me like you're setting an appointment. And if you set an appointment with me, you're doing fine. Keep going. I may stop you in the middle of that and we'll talk about, maybe your choice of words, or maybe, maybe it's the tone, maybe it's that, maybe you're speeding through, the script, maybe you're sounding too scripted. Whatever the case may be, we can quickly identify that. We can get you back on the phone until you become a professional at it. So, again, just keep moving forward. Also have that goal. You should call until you speak to 40 people or until you set 6 appointments. Either way you win. Now, that can be increased above that. That's just an example. But set that goal and work towards it. And during that time, focus on that goal. Focus on reaching that goal. Focus on making those phone calls until you get that amount of people on the phone, or until you get the amount of appointments, that you're looking to set. And again, just like I mentioned previously, make sure it doesn't sound scripted. It should sound conversational. Again, dial with a smile. Call them and talk to your clients. You're working out of time to visit with them, to take care of something that's very important to them. So, don't be afraid to call them and talk to them. And, again, we have the phone scripts and things to use as a reference, as a guide as you're going through your call. But for the most part, talk to your clients. Just be yourself, be in a good mood, and you will be amazed at the amount of people that, will just be excited to have you over. Now, we're going to talk about final expense, working with telemarketing leads and setting appointments with telemarketing leads. One of the ways that we generate leads for final expense is through telemarketing. Now, so I guess real quick, some of the benefits, they generate quickly. Again, they're exclusive. We mentioned your name during the call. It's an inexpensive marketing option. You can $9, $16, whichever one you can run with. Between the both of them, we still see about the same average close rate, 10 to 30%. And I look at them as a great supplement to direct mail. Direct mail is your more consistent marketing piece for final expense. Now, it's okay to have the approach of calling and setting the appointments with your telemarketing leads, because these people have already been reached out to by phone. They've already spoke to a representative at the Senior Care Center. You're simply following up with them to set up a time to come visit with them to see if we can get them qualified. So, and just real quick, in telemarketing leads, basically we're calling people between the ages of 50 and 80. incomes between 18 and 50,000, and these are generated by county. Now, real quick, the reason they're generated by county is because there's a thing called the do not call list. If you have an area with 100,000 people, and let's say 50,000 of them meet the demographics for final expense, ages 50 to 80, incomes 18 to 50,000, but yet out of those 50,000 people, in most cases, in most areas, and you can pick any area across the United States, we're going to have an average of 50 to 60% of those people on the do not call list. That's in any given area. So in order to get enough data to call through, we cannot do it by just county. We have to do it, by zip code, we have to do it by county. Now, direct mail, there's not a do not mail list, so we can actually, market to all 50,000 people through direct mail. So you can see that increases the amount of data that's available, which allows us to, market by zip code. That's why the approach is different with direct mail. That's why we train to take that lead and look at it as an invitation to go see the client. Take that invitation, go to the door, and go see your client. You route them out. You're in one area, and that's kind of the approach between the two, and that's how they're both generated. You kind of have an understanding of that. Now, this is just a weekly schedule that I put together. You could use any kind of schedule or planner that you have, but I like to have this sitting down in front of me. Now, you'll notice, it kind of starts on Friday. I'd run a lot of my appointments on the weekend. But this comes in handy when basically when I say maintain control of your schedule. You don't want to be in a situation where your clients are setting the appointment with you. You always want to be the one setting the appointment with your client. And this will help because, again, you're going to have your time frames available. You block off the times, that you're not available to see your client. And, any client that and you can see I have this every hour on the hour. I would run my appointment pretty much just like that, because I know that in most cases it's going to take about 20 minutes to, go in, see the client, present, and walk out with an application in most cases. And so I would set my appointments every hour on the hour, and I would know what times I would have readily available. You're sitting there, you're calling, you're setting your appointments. This gives you the ability to give your client those two options. You know that you're available those two times, and if for some reason those times don't work, let me look real quick. Okay, Thursday at 7's not going to work. Friday at 10's not going to work. How about maybe Saturday at 3 in the afternoon? Does that work well for you? Oh, my gosh, well, we got soccer games all weekend. We're so busy after we get off work Friday. You know what? I got a few people in your area that kind of in the same situation. Everybody's busy. I definitely understand. But I'm actually making a special trip out there Sunday afternoon. So how about Sunday at 3 o'clock after church? Does that sound good? Again, so I have those times available. I'm prepared to work with the busy schedule, and this will help you do that. So, again, just briefly, get a planner, get a schedule, get something in front of you. This is actually available in the back office, so you can utilize this to help, control your schedule. This is the appointment setting script, that we have available. Pretty basic. You'll notice some of the things that are highlighted. Now, the reason these things are highlighted, I want the client to know that I'm not a telemarketer. When someone gets a phone call from a number that they do not recognize, the first thing they think, a telemarketer, right? Oh, gosh, another one of those. So if they answer it, they're trying to get that person off the phone as fast as possible. So I don't want to be written off as a telemarketer and this person who's already spoke to someone at the senior care center not make that connection with me that I'm the agent that's supposed to call them, and all of a sudden I lose out on that appointment. So I'm trying to identify immediately that I'm not the telemarketer, and the way I do it is with these three highlighted things. I mentioned senior care center, I mentioned final expense benefits, and I tell them what's either their favorite color or their favorite hobby, because these things were identified on the phone whenever our telemarketer talked to the client. Hi, Mrs. Smith. The reason I called, you just spoke to Lisa at the Senior Care Center about your final expense benefit. Oh, by the way, you indicated that your favorite hobby is fishing. Great. Well, I'm going to be in your area this weekend, and only need about 10 to 15 minutes of your time. I'd love to sit down and visit with you and see if we can get you qualified. How about Saturday at 3, or maybe Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock? Which would work better for you? So again, I'm just kind of rolling right through it. I'm identifying why I'm calling right off the bat. I'm identifying those 3 bullet points: senior care center, final expense, their favorite color, or their favorite hobby, I'm not a telemarketer anymore. They're open to talking to me now. They're open to setting this appointment, and that's what I do. So I go right into setting the appointment. And few things that I let them know here, I only need about 10 to 12 minutes of your time. Again, I don't want them thinking that this is going to be a 3 or 4 hour appointment, dreaded appointment with the insurance agent. And then I give them the two options, which will work best for you. Now, the reason that I give them two options, I don't ask them, when would be a good time for me to come see you? What do you think they're going to say? Probably never. Well, no time's good to see me. I'm always busy. So I'm going to give them an option, because people are more than likely going to pick an option. If you ask them when, they can think of everything else as to why they're busy and why you can't come see them. But if you give an option, they're thinking of, can I fit one of those two times in my schedule? It's a totally different thought process for the client on the other end of the phone. So just by asking them that simple question, giving them the option, again, that's going to help you increase the amount of appointments that you get. Another thing that I do, simply solidify the appointment. It's nothing big here. Basically, I solidify the appointment. I try to paint a mental visual of my arrival. I want the client to think about me pulling up to their house, looking for their address. Some of the things that I'll do, of course, I'll confirm their address. Okay, Mrs. Smith, great. I have you at 1124 Evergreen Drive. Is this correct? All right, great. Now, as I'm driving down your street, will I see your address on the side of the house, on the curb, or on the mailbox? Okay, great. Now, by the way, what color is the house that I'm looking for? Okay, great. Now, the reason I do that, I ask them that question, they're going to picture me driving down looking for their address. They're going to picture me driving down the street looking for the color of their house. And, you can ask these questions. Those are my two favorite tasks, where I'll find the address and, what color is your house. Some agents like to, ask what kind of car will be in the driveway, or, whatever the case may be. Okay, great. So we mentioned Saturday at 3 o'clock would be good for you, so I'll see you then, and we'll have you all taken care of. You have a great day. We'll see you then. Thanks. And I'm on to my next one. So pretty basic. And again, this script is available in the back office. It's a script, but you don't want to sound scripted, like I said earlier. Again, you want to, kind of be more conversational, talking to your client, trying to work out a good time for the visit. These are some potential objections that you may run into. This one you'll rarely get, but if you do, it's pretty simple to just jog their memory a little bit more. Well, what is this about? You may get that if you kind of went through the first part too quickly, or maybe they didn't quite catch what you said. And I just simply reiterate, remember you had just spoke to Lisa at the Senior Care Center about your final expense benefits, and you indicated your favorite color was blue. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, great. My name's Jason. I'm in charge of getting this taken care of for you. I'm going to be in your area this Thursday and Friday. It looks like I got a time available. I only need to visit with you for about 10 or 15 minutes. Would Thursday at 3 work well for you, or maybe Friday at 10? Which would work best for you? So again, I'm giving them options. Now, you'll notice that after I overcome the objection, I'm immediately going to give them two options as far as the time frame. Well, I don't want to, I really don't want to see anyone. I didn't know anyone had to come out to my house. I understand. The good thing, we see about 10 to 15 people a day. Some people may be reluctant to see us, but we are able to help those families we sit down with. And I only need about 10 to 15 minutes. I promise I won't be there all day. But I'll be in your area. How about today at 5:30 or maybe tomorrow at 10? Which would work best for you? Again, just talking to them, conversational, asking them the two options again. And so overcome the objection and give them two options. Can I just get a quote over the phone? I'd love to give you a quote over the phone. That'd make my job a lot easier, but I do have to physically verify. There's no medical exam for this, so, I have to verify a few things. I'll be in your area, this Friday and Saturday. So how about Friday at 6 o'clock, or maybe Saturday morning at 9, which will work best for you? Again, overcome the objection and immediately give them a time, because normally when people give you an objection, it's because they don't want to deal with it at that moment in time. They're just trying to say anything they can to get you off the phone so they can move on. But if you're making it easy for them, if you're making it easy for them to pick a time, giving them two options, and you're letting them know that you can take care of this very quickly, then more than likely you're going to get that appointment because they're going to understand, okay, yeah, I need to go ahead and get this taken care of. It sounds like it'll be fairly easy. This person's nice on the phone. They got a great attitude. Sure. They'll set the appointment. All of these things matter. Again, if you have a bad attitude, if you don't know what times are available, if you're not prepared, if you're sounding too scripted, it's just a little bit of practice, to become that professional on the phone. Because, again, being a professional on the phone is going to get you to more kitchen tables. And ultimately, that is where business is done. Now, door knocking is the best approach with direct mail. I mentioned we're going to talk about approach with final expense leads. We have telemarketing and we have direct mail. Telemarketing, it's okay to call them. Direct mail, you want to take that invitation to the door and you want to knock on the door. Now, again, remember I mentioned earlier that your direct mail for final expense, we can generate those by zip code. So when you start your day and you route your responses out that you received, you simply go out, take that response to the door, and this is what you say. Hi, Mrs. Smith. I happen to be in the area, and I have the card that you mailed back, the request that you mailed back, whatever you want to refer to that, requesting the final expense benefits that you're eligible for. You happen to have a few minutes where I can come in and see what we can get you qualified for? Just pretty simple, pretty something, and even my actions are following through with that too. I'm kind of leaning forward. I'm kind of reaching for the screen door. I'm kind of wiping my feet, just a little short, wipe of the feet. I'm expecting them to let me in. Now, more than likely, they're going to let me in and I can present. Most seniors are used to dealing with the insurance agent at their home, at the kitchen table. Also, they may say, well, now's not a good time. Okay, great. And I leave this more open-ended. I don't nail down a specific time. Oh, you know what? Not a problem. I'm always in the area. I'll be back. I can come back by tomorrow. Would maybe tomorrow a little later in the afternoon work? Notice I didn't say tomorrow at 5. Tomorrow a little later in the afternoon. Sure. You think your husband will be home by then? You think your wife will be home by then? Okay, great. I'll just come back by then, and I'll stop by tomorrow. We'll see you then. So it's very rare that you're going to get someone that's, oh, no, I don't want this, go away. You're either going to be able to go into the home and present, or you're going to let them know that you're going to come by at another time that's better to catch both of them at home, or just a better time to catch them. And very rarely, again, we get the people, because, again, this is a direct mail lead. This is why the close rate is so much more higher with direct mail as opposed to telemarketing, because this client has taken the initiative to fill out this mailer that they've received. They've received all this mail in the mailbox. They've thrown away their junk mail, and they've identified this one piece as something they have an interest in so much that they filled it out and took it back to the mailbox and mailed it back. So when you show up with that letter in hand, when they see their handwriting, people are very receptive to that. So you can see while the close rate on average for even new agents is 40 to 50%, and seasoned agents are closing even higher than that. So, again, direct mail is one of the key marketing pieces in the final expense market. So, again, look at that letter as an invitation. So many agents say, well, that's just, God, don't you feel like you're imposing on them? Well, no, they're expecting something from that. They're expecting some kind of response from that letter they mailed back. And people are so much more friendly in person than they are over the phone. And to believe me when I say that, I've called thousands and thousands and thousands of people, been to thousands of doors, and people are so much more friendly in person than they are over the phone. It's a lot easier for someone to say, don't call me, click, than it is, when you're standing at the door and they see your smile, they see their own handwriting, and you're talking to them about something that they have an interest in. It just works out well. So just understanding the approach, understanding the marketing, and, again, that's going to help you, what I call fill up your marketing pipeline. If you fill up your marketing pipeline, that's going to fill up your production pipeline. It's just that simple. One feeds the other. Now we're going to talk a little bit about setting mortgage protection appointments. This is probably the most important step in the mortgage protection market, because there are only direct mail mortgage protection leads that we generate And pretty much the best approach is to call them, because the mortgage protection market is your working class in most cases. You have people with full-time jobs, if not 2 or 3 full-time jobs. Both the whole family's working, and to support the household. So everyone's busy. There's family activities going on, kids in school, after-school activities, sporting events, whatever the case may be. Setting appointments in mortgage protection, it's probably one of the toughest parts, because you have to invest so much time in it. That's why I would set up my week, as far as Tuesday and Wednesday was full-time appointment setting days, all day long, both days. So just understand that this is one of the most important parts in the mortgage protection market. So if mortgage protection is a market of focus for you, become a professional at setting appointments. Again, some of the same things. Get relaxed. Be schedule ready. Call with confidence. And again, dial with a smile. This is where your money's going to be made in the mortgage protection market. So, don't be afraid of the phone. Have the little illustration there. But again, so many agents look at that as, just this huge 5,000-pound gorilla. They don't want to get near it. They're going to get attacked if they do. It's just the opposite. This is where your money is going to be made, is on the phone. Because once you get into the home, presenting and just hitting on that need, that importance, hitting on that emotion, all that's going to happen, because they filled that letter out for a reason. The hard part to the mortgage protection market is getting to the table, and that's because people are so hard to get a hold of. And again, because it's the working class. So if you become good at getting a hold of these people and getting them on the phone and getting them in your schedule, you're going to write a lot of business in mortgage protection. Now, we have 2 scripts for setting mortgage protection appointments. One is a new request script. Basically, it's you've just done a mail campaign, and now you have responses coming back. You have people filling out the letters, mailing them back to you. You want to take those immediately, give them a call. Hey, George, and I'll talk to people by their first name in the mortgage protection market all the time. I don't, I feel more comfortable that way. You can, refer to the client how you choose, but I do it first name basis. So, hey, George, I got the request that you sent in for your mortgage, life, and disability benefits. I'm the agent out of Dallas. I'm in charge of taking care of this for you. I'm going to be in your area this Friday and Saturday. The good thing is I only need about 10 to 15 minutes of this to see if we can get you qualified. Would Friday, looks like I got a time here at 3 o'clock, or maybe Saturday at 11, which would work best for you. So again, I'm going right into the very, very similar. I'm very short and sweet. I've identified why I'm calling. The mortgage, life, and disability benefits, that's at the top of the letter that they filled out. And I'm immediately going into setting the appointment. And so in most cases, after I've given them the option, they're thinking about, will Saturday at 9 o'clock work, or maybe, Friday, they're trying to figure out if that's going to work for them. So, again, they'll select the time. Okay, great. We'll see you Saturday at 10. Real quick, is 123 Preston your correct address? All right, great. What's a major intersection closest to your home? And I'll ask this, sometimes on new requests, it could be a new housing addition, and it may not show up in the GPS. So I like to get a cross street, so at least I can get to the cross street, and then I'll ask them from there. And I'll ask them, is this a new development? Do you think will it show up on my GPS, or is it a new development? And they'll let me know. Oh, you know what? The fence guy couldn't get here. The cable guy couldn't. Whoever couldn't get here. I know it doesn't show up on the GPS. So make sure and turn here and go here. The people are trying to get you there. So again, just talking to them and working with them. Okay, great. Another thing you can do to help solidify the appointment. Oh my gosh, my schedule, my computer just crashed. What time was it that I said I was going to see you? And you're making them repeat back to you the time, that you agreed upon. So again, little things that you can do to help them remember that you're coming to see them. For the most part, you want to become good at this. You want to become conversational. You want to be able to get into the home. I keep repeating that, but that is so true, especially in the mortgage protection market, because becoming good at setting the appointments on the phone is going to get you into more homes, which is going to allow you to write more business. Now, I mentioned we have 2 versions of the mortgage protection script, very, very similar. Really, one of the biggest differences is when I call my client, say, I get a ton of B leads, and Now, in any case, these age B leads, they could be anywhere from 3 months to 9 months old. But I know they have not been sold. That's why they're still available. So when I call them, I'm pretty much letting them know that, hey, John, this is the courtesy call. I'm calling about the mortgage protection benefits that you requested. It shows in our system you've not yet gotten this coverage taken care of. That's not a problem. I'm going to be in your area this Friday and Saturday. The good thing, I only need about 10 or 15 minutes of your time to see if we can get you qualified. Would Saturday at 3 o'clock or maybe Friday at 2, which would work better for you? So again, I'm going right into setting the appointment, just right into it. The only difference is I mentioned courtesy call because I want to disarm them. I want to bring their guard down a little bit. And believe it or not, this is a courtesy call. It works well. It brings their guard down. They're listening to me. It shows in our system that you've not yet put this protection plan in place. I'm letting them know right off of the bat that I know they haven't gotten this coverage taken care of. So, they're not going to tell me, well, we've already gotten that taken care of. Thanks anyway, bye. I'm letting them know that right off the bat. And again, I'm letting them know I only need 15 to 20 minutes of your time, because another reason they're going to try and get me off the phone is, oh, God, I don't want to meet with the insurance guy for 3 or 4 hours. You know what? I don't have time for that. Don't worry about it. Click. But in reality, they haven't gotten the coverage yet. They filled it out. They still need it. They know they need it. The emotion escaped them. The reason they filled that out, it's forgotten until another event happens, or, until something that, just jogs their memory again as to the importance of it, as to why they need to take the time to go ahead and get it taken care of. Don't ask what day or time would work for you. Again, I mentioned that earlier because we know what they're going to say. Well, I'm so busy. I'm really not going to have time to visit with you. But if you give them 2 options, again, they're thinking about those options and they're working to get those fit in their schedule. You may get some objections. These can go for either the new responses or the age responses. Can you just mail me something? I'd love to mail you something, but we pretty much mailed you all that we can. Basically, the next step is meeting with an agent, see if we can get you qualified and going from there. And so again, this is where it's very important. Right after you say that, you need to give them the times that you can see them. So I'll be in your area this Friday and Saturday. How about Saturday at 2? Or, again, whatever times you have available. So, again, that's very important. You want to come with the options of times right away. Well, how much does it cost? Well, the good thing is that's really up to you. I've seen applications come across my desk for $30 as high as $300. But basically what we're going to do, we're going to find what meets your needs and fits in your budget and get this taken care of for you. I'll be out there this Friday and Saturday. Only need a few minutes of your time this Saturday. Again, and I'm right back into giving them the options. So you can, have different things to say to overcome these objections. But one of the biggest things that you'll need to do is make sure and have those time frames available that you can see your client. So you can immediately give them those options so they're led to choose one as opposed to, well, I'm too busy to see you. So, again, very important. You may get this on the older responses, on the age leads. I don't remember sending anything in. Well, this was the letter that you had filled out. Well, and again, now, if they tell you this, another thing that I think about is maybe I don't have the person on the phone that filled it out. Well, maybe your wife filled this out, but it was obviously important to someone because someone at your home filled this out and mailed it back, and it was about making sure that in case of a death, that your home is paid off. In case of a disability, I'm going to be in your area this Friday and Saturday. Again, so I overcome the objection, and I immediately go back, go back into the appointment time. So again, there's some things that you can say. You can mention, well, it shows here you wrote down your birthday, September, 19th, so whatever date. Again, you can say little things here to jog their memory. Even on the 8th, well, it looks like on your 8th, you write with a little tail at the end of your 8th here. I got the letter you filled out. You can say things like that. Again, you're just jogging. Oh, yeah, that's right. And in most cases, by now, you've already gotten them to remember. You may have someone that's saying, well, I already got it. More than likely, you're not going to get this because you've already told them it shows in our system. You've not yet gotten it covered. And again, I'm going to repeat that. Oh, wow. Well, it shows in our system that we never added the coverage for you. Did this plan come, with your loan paperwork, or did it come separately? If they tell me that it came with their loan paperwork, I'm immediately going to identify with them. Well, I'd love to say that you're protected, but what you currently have if it came with your loan paperwork is personal mortgage insurance, which actually protects the lender in case of a default in the loan. That does not protect your family in case of a death to make sure your family gets the home. And again, so I'll just simply explain it to them, and I'll be in your area. You know, the good thing, it only takes 10 or 15 minutes to see if we can get you qualified. I'll be in your area this Friday and Saturday. Which would work best for you? You know, another thing that you could say to them, oh, wow, well, do you have the old plan or do you have the new plan? Simple question. You know, they may say, oh, well, I don't know. Hey, you know what? It only takes 10 or 15 minutes. Ready. Check it out. We'll make sure you have, you know, that's best for you and your family. Find out that it's the old plan. We can get you updated. I'll be there this Friday and Saturday, which will work best for you. Again, overcome the objections, give them a time. So basically, hopefully you got out of overcoming objections that one of the biggest things that you want to do is give them options, because they're going to choose one of those times if you give them an option in most cases, and just become good at setting an appointment, you know, develop that rhino skin, what I call it, you know, let things, you know, roll off of you, bounce off of you, and just keep moving forward, develop that even kill attitude. You know, don't get too excited when you're getting a bunch of appointments. Don't get, you know, too down when you're not getting appointments. Just keep moving forward. The appointments will come. The business will come. So with that, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to Jason at summitallianceadvantage.com. I'm going to thank everyone for attending today's training. And